Hi, brothers and sisters. Let's talk about understanding the battle between the darkness and the light. So this way, we will understand what is really going on in this planet. The dark forces is called the Ahriman forces, or the forces of Satan, and the forces of light, the Galactic Confederation. So I'm not talking about the Galactic Federation. This is the battle between the forces of dark and the forces of light. The forces of dark called the Ahriman forces, and the forces of light is the Galactic Confederation forces. The forces of the dark that we as human beings on this planet, we need to understand what is occurring on this planet. We must recognize that the forces of the dark, or the reptilians, that they are interdimensional beings. The forces of Ahriman and the forces of spiritual hierarchy, which is the Galactic Confederation. The spiritual hierarchy is essentially that hierarchy of the forces of the light on the inner plane, which attempt to raise the understanding and vibration of this planet, the people on this planet, and also various planets in the universe, so that the planets and the people may evolve spiritually. The forces of Ahriman are those forces associated with the elements of Hades, those forces which would attempt to entrap and bind and hold the souls of the people on this planet to prevent spiritual involvement. The forces of Ahriman is the forces which make use of the astral energies. I talked about the chakra system yesterday. Now you can see the relationship with that. The forces of Ahriman, which makes use of the astral energies. These energies, which associated with the lower chakras of greed, power, and lust. This kind of energy was used during the time of Atlantis too, and it is one of the reasons in the sinking of Atlantis too. The higher forces of the spiritual hierarchy are those forces which are associated with the mental plane and the etheric plane, and attempts to encourage and tune to the higher chakras associated with love, mercy, and radiance. The next step that we need to understand what is occurring on the various planes, we need to recognize that this conflict between the forces of light and forces of darkness in the inner planes, or that which is other than our physical plane. It is occurring not only in regards to our planet, but throughout the universe and throughout the cosmos. The planets in the universe which have life on them, most of these planets that have high civilizations or high order of life belong to the forces of light, which is called the Galactic Federation of Light. Now you're starting to have an idea of the hierarchy. Now these entities, I'm talking about the Galactic Federation of Light, they were aware of the developing process of the Earth before the ascension. Okay, so and the conflict between the Galactic Confederation against the reptilians, called the Satan forces. It is associated with the conflict of this planet. The Galactic Federation of Light recognize that our planet is in turmoil, and this is the reason that they are here, and it's time for ascension. Because our planet has certain valuable position in the solar system, and the ancient treasures deep within its core. These treasures as that which would give great power to those forces which control the planet. And one of that is the computer that was implanted in the core of this planet, implanted by the ancient ETs long time ago. And the forces of the dark are trying to get a hold of that computer to rule this planet and its people. The Galactic Confederation is also in continual conflict with the forces of darkness, called also known as Natas, or forces of Satan. The forces of Ahriman are those from the legions of Hades. While in conflict with the Galactic Confederation, do not openly attack with such fervor on those planets that are already established as planets of light. But the forces of dark, they rather go to those planets which are in developing stage, which hold great wealth, even as on the lower levels of the planet. Those more highly developed nations find themselves in conflict over the wealth of a smaller developing nation. I hope I didn't confuse you with that. The forces of the dark, they go after to those planets. Let me re-explain that. The forces of the dark go after to those planets which are in developing stage that holds great wealth, even as on the lower levels of this planet. Those more highly developed nations find themselves in conflict over a smaller developing nation. As it has been said, as it is above, it is also below. As it is below, so it is above. To some degree, it is true. Although with each reflection above or below, the energies are altered slightly so that the echo or reflection is not exact. It is altered according to the circumstances. That essentially, however, the conflicts in the inner space are not too similar. Those conflict on the physical plane and those forces in the inner realms are invariable, attempting to influence through telepathy or through activities to influence the people on this physical plane, or that which is the outer plane. And the influence are either emanating from the forces of light or of forces of darkness. These influences moving through individuals or through corporate bodies, through groups, through structures, through organizations, and through the lords of the planet or the lords of the realms, the deity of beings which inhabits or control the various dimensions. Essentially, the spiritual hierarchy has as that kind of the same vibration of the light energies, or they may be termed as lords or saints, or if the reflection is a more of negative vibration of the dark forces, they are termed priests of the dark forces or demons, or whatever name is being given as appropriate. People, any person attempting to understand what is going on, need to also recognize that it is possible for anyone or any entities, it is possible to move interdimensionally through through sleep, although it is more difficult for the person to move horizontally or vertically in our own dimension. So it is easier for us to move interdimensionally than moving horizontally or vertically in our own dimension. So when one falls asleep, one moves interdimensionally into another plane, generally into the astral plane. One may also move into the mental plane, particularly during the times of meditation, and may move into the etheric plane during times of that meditation. So it is possible for entities of the astral mental or etheric planes to gather together that plasma or gaseous substance, which allows them to, for what appears to be a our material body. So it is possible for them to gather that body, or on they can merge with our body when you do astral travel. This is the cause of people that are trying to travel in astral, that when they do not ask for, when they do not meditate or ask for protection, light protection from Archangel Michael or the Prime Creator, the Platinum Light. So if you do not ask for protection of light, then when you do astral travel, the astral entities can merge with you or gather your body. So when you come back, you have multiple spirits in your body, and this is called the walk-ins. So that interdimensional beings could merge with you. So it could be the light being or the darkness. So in the use of a more recent technologies, these entities that are merging with you, such as the dark forces, they're finding it more and more easier to move into the physical dimension and stay in the physical form for a longer periods of times. I say it again, it's called walk-ins. I spoke about this in my video, George Cavasalas is busted in astral. So we need to have an understanding that this new influence of interdimensional beings interacting with the physical beings of this plane, that anyone, a person may come may come into grip and understand the meaning. We need to be aware the meaning behind the religious teachings of the ancient writings. We need to understand with the relationship with these interdimensional beings. If we reread the ancient texts of the Old Testament or the Lost Book of Eden or the Lost Book of the Bible and get new meanings from these scriptures, anyone may gain greater understanding of the mystery of present events that tear in the world in which we live. When we find the information, it is like putting together a puzzle, like a jigsaw puzzle, not knowing what the picture would reveal when you put the puzzle together. And as long as we do not know what the picture would reveal or how it looks like, it is more difficult to look for the piece or parts of that puzzle in order to assemble these parts. But when we see the picture of the assembled puzzle, it becomes much easier to know where the pieces goes, where the tree is, where the flowers are, and where to put the barn.